Alright, welcome back to another video here on the Idaho Panhandlers. My name is Danny, and today I'm just going to demonstrate to you guys really quick how I'm going to finish my butcher block, which will be going into our 1975 vintage bowler fiberglass camper that we're currently in the middle of renovating. So this is going to be basically for our kitchenette, the countertop. Now there are so many different ways to actually finish butcher blocks, and I'm just going to show you guys the way that I've come up with, and I think it'll work pretty well. And it's really easy. So without further ado, let's get started. I am fighting a little bit of a weather window today, so if it does start to rain again, which it has been all day, I'm going to be going into the camper with our butcher block to finish the job. So everything that you need to do to get prepped for your butcher block, in my opinion, is that you need to make sure all of your holes are cut out for your sink, for your stove, all of your sink holes. Everything needs to be prepped and ready as far as that goes. Once you're finally to the point where you're ready to finish it, we've got to sand it. So I've got a mixture of different coarse grit sandpapers, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with 220 grit sandpaper, get a really good sanding of 220 all on our butcher block, and then I'm going to move to 320 grit sandpaper, and then we'll actually use the finish oil that I'll show you guys here in a little while. So again, without further ado, let's get to sanding. This is again with 220 grit sandpaper. So I don't think I mentioned it, but this is actually a 1-inch maple wood butcher block that I found on Amazon. I feel like finding 1-inch butcher block is really hard to find, so if you guys are interested in it, I'll leave the link down in the description below, as well as everything else that we're using in this video if you like how this turns out. So again, let's get to work. So just to make the video flow and go a little bit quicker, I just want to let you guys know that I already sanded the bottom. I do recommend sanding the bottom of your butcher block prior to sanding the top, just because you're going to have it flipped over. You're going to end with a good side up. Well, unfortunately, after within only about 5 minutes of sanding, it's already starting to rain again. We had a really nice little weather window, so I thought I'd take everything outside, but we're going to head back inside our camper, and we'll finish sanding. I gotta hurry.
Alright, we just got done sanding with our 220 grit. Now we're moving to 320.
Okay, so we are as smooth as a baby's behind. That 320 grit sandpaper does a fine job. So stupid. Anyways, it is time to apply our finish oil. Now, we're not going to apply any stain. We want to keep the natural look as much as we can, but if you wanted to lighten or darken your butcher block, now would be the time to do so with stain. But we're going to jump right into our finishing technique, and I'll show you kind of what we do next. So we're going to start with the underside of our butcher block countertop first. I definitely recommend that you do finish the underside, because you never know if you might get water underneath or leaks or what have you. I think the more protect you can have on the total surface of your countertop, the better. So we're going to do that first, finish it, and then we'll flip it over and do the actual top. So I do also highly recommend that you invest in some of these. This is tack cloth. So since we just sanded, this is basically really kind of sticky, tacky. It's the best word that I can come up with. Cloth. And you just kind of wipe it all over your butcher block countertop, and it should remove all of the sawdust and really help prep your surface for your finishing oil. Oh, weird. It is indeed really tacky. All right. So let's give our countertop a good wipe. I know you guys won't be able to see it, but it definitely worked. There's a lot of sawdust on this yellow tack cloth. So you might be asking yourself, Dan, what are you going to be using to actually finish your butcher block countertop? And I'll tell you, friends, I'm using the Wood Honey Food Safe Wood Finish by Total Boat. Comes in this little honey bear bottle. Actually looks like a bottle of honey. I've tested it on a couple pieces of scrap butcher block pieces, and that makes sense? I don't know. And it actually looks really good. It really brings out the natural kind of darker grain of the maple wood, and I actually really like it. So I did 3 test coats on a scrap piece, and we put sriracha on it. We put water on it. Everything wiped off really well, and so I've been pretty pleasantly surprised with how it worked. I think this is pretty good stuff. I recommend it, and so I'll show you kind of how we use it. Also, goes really good on a biscuit. Highly recommend. Just kidding, I don't. Don't eat this stuff, and I told you not to. Don't eat it. Anywho, as far as applicating tools, applicating tools, you have a couple options. I recommend a lint-free cloth, maybe like a cheesecloth. You can use like a foam brush. I'm going to be trying a new technique that I've actually never tried before, and I actually just saw it on a YouTube video, kind of doing some research, and it's actually just to use like a grocery bag, a plastic grocery bag. It won't absorb into this, and so you'll get more bang for your buck as you spread your finish oil around. So let's go ahead and try this Food Safe Wood Finish by Total Boat, and we will see what it looks like. I don't even know if you're supposed to shake it, but you know, we're just gonna shake it. Kind of looks like honey if you were to like melt it in the microwave. See what we can do here. Now for the edges, like inside the holes and just kind of along this back edge, I'm going to use a foam brush. But if you just have a plastic bag, I think that will work just fine as well. So now we have a pretty thick coat of our finishing oil on top. I have a new foam brush, completely dry. I'm just going to kind of go over it gently, get up any excess, and let it absorb. So again, this is the underside of our butcher block counter, and I don't care too much about getting it perfect, but this is really good practice for when we do the top portion. So this is the first coat of the underside of our kitchen cabinet. I'm going to call it good, call it done. Okay, so it has been about 24 hours since we did our first layer on the underside of our butcher block, and it's time to do the second coat, and I'm just going to do a really light one. Again, it's the underside, don't care too much about it, but as soon as we do this coat, I'm just going to wipe off the excess, flip it over, and then we'll start on the actual top side or the good side of our counter. All right, beautiful. Let's go ahead and flip this thing over and do the good side here. So again, we have our tack cloth. We're just going to do a nice thorough wipe to get all of the sawdust off that we can. So however you guys want to apply it, I think will work just fine. I have foam brushes. I have a garbage bag or a plastic sack. They both work just fine. You'll get the same results, kind of what I'm finding. So I think since I have a foam brush, I'm probably just going to continue using that. So obviously this is the top side, the good side that we want to make look really, really nice. And this is the side that we sanded with the 320 grit. And I can tell it just is going on so much easier. It's so much nicer. and it looks really, really good here in person. All right, that looks really good. All right, so I'm gonna take another shop towel, and the reason I like these versus normal paper towels is just that they're pretty much lint free, and so you're going to leave a lot less lint or little paper towel particles on your product. So we're just gonna give it a nice wipage, get all the excess off. That'll make it so it cures quicker. All right, guys, I will see you in about 4 hours. We'll apply our second coat. Okay, so it has been about 4 hours since we applied our first coat of our finish for our butcher block countertop, and we are about to apply our second coat. Now, what you want to do is you want to get some really fine sandpaper. This is 600 grit, as you can see right here, and we're just going to do a really light scuff over the entire butcher block surface, and then we'll use our tack cloth one more time, and we'll apply our second coat. This will give it an ultra smooth, ultra fine, really nice finish. So by doing a really light scuff with very fine grit sandpaper, you'll just make for a better surface for your finish oil to re-adhere, to soak in, and that's what you want to do. So let's do that, and we'll get to our second coat. Now when I say a light scuff, that is all you need. I'm going with the grain. One more time with the tack cloth. I feel like you can cut this in half and stretch it. You don't need to use the whole thing and waste it. All right, so it is the next day. It is finally time for our third and final coat of our butcher block countertop. And again, we're just going to follow the same process and sand it, apply it, wipe it, and then we'll be done. I hope even after 2 coats, you guys can see really how beautiful it looks. Because here in person, it looks really, really nice. So let's get after it and get it done. Wipe off the excess. All right, you guys, that is it. That is our third and final coat for our butcher block countertop. Now, one note I want to mention is that it's important with butcher block to always keep up on your finish. So whether it be once a year, once a season, or just if you notice it looks a little bit dry, it's definitely recommended to apply another coat. Again, do a quick sand, and doing that will really help prolong the longevity of your butcher block. So just wanted to mention that really quick. Now, if you guys are interested in checking out any of the products or items that we used here in the video, including the butcher block, be sure to check down in the description below. I'll post the links for you all to check out if you want to. And other than that, I think that is the end of this video, so be sure to leave a big thumbs up on it, comment down below, and subscribe to our channel, the Idaho Panhandlers, and we will see you all on the next video. Thanks so much for watching.